Hi friends and fellow Earth Angels, it's Gladys, and welcome back to another one of my weekly Sunday card readings. And this spread will start by covering March 13th through the 19th, or whenever you're guided to watch, as I always intend these to be timeless readings, meaning whenever this video shows up for you, that is the time that the messages are meant for you. So welcome. This week, I am going to be working with the divine feminine energy. I'm also going to be working with the color red, root chakra energy for grounding. So if you have felt mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually lifted up, I feel like this would be a good week to work with the earth energy, work with grounding stones. I like to wear the color red. Red represents the lower base chakra. It's foundational energy. It's new beginnings energy. We are in a time where I've talked about this in other readings, about Pluto being back in its home sign here in the US natal chart. And we have not experienced this energy at all in our lifetime. The last time people on Earth experienced this energy was in 1776. So Pluto carries the energy or works with the energy of power, transformation, and presence, right? We are also experiencing energy depletion through the fear vibe, I guess, if you want to call it, on the planet, right? There's been a lot of upheaval and insecurities and uncertainties with the challenges that countries all over this world are experiencing: power struggles, illness, politics, growth, spiritual warfare. There's a lot. And it's impossible to speak to all of it. So if you are one of those sensitive souls that are being lifted up by the intensity of the energy and the depletion of the chi, right? When you're in fear mode and you're feeling that in your body, the energy or chi in your body constricts. When you are working with that energy of love, right? Joy, laughter, play, inner peace. When you are working in an energy of feeling aligned with your heart song, your energy expands. Now take that and expand it into the entire planet. Right? So if you are feeling the depletions of that energy, sometimes some of the symptoms or the signs when your chi or energy is depleted, your life force energy, your prana energy, you may feel tired and sluggish. You want to check in also too with what you've been, consuming, if extra sugar or extra dairy. Those things in abundance can create inflammation or can, make you feel groggy, excess caffeine, things like that. So you just want to check in again, just with curiosity, and make some adjustments. This is a really great time as we're getting ready to transition from winter into the spring. So I just feel like we're on the cusp of this new beginnings energy, the birthing of new things. And so if you are feeling the depletion, you could feel irritable or short or snappy, or you could be immersing yourself in drama-filled or emotionally manipulative experiences. So I feel like I want to work with the divine feminine energy this week for nurturing. The energy of the feminine is insight, wisdom, connection, nurturing, feeling, receptivity, right? It's the well-being as opposed to action-oriented. So that all being said, the cards I'm going to be using this week, I'm going to start with the Dream Goddess deck. This is a deck that I purchased in Sedona, Arizona last year. I'm sure you can find it online, but this is the box and the way it opens. So I haven't used this deck in a while, so I'm going to use this to pull a guide for the week, and then I will, for your message of healing, that will come from Soulful Woman, and your action steps, well, this week will come from Flower Therapy. What you're being gifted with this week will come from Queen of the Moon Oracle, and your overall message for the week will be from the Whispers of Love deck. So this is Women's History Month, celebrating the feminine energy and really immersing ourselves in the creative energy. Feminine energy is creative. It's colorful. It represents beauty and bounty and abundance, right? As we're growing and expanding. And again, as you're working in those energies and as you expand in that, anything that's not a vibrational match comes up and out. This is why there is this beautiful, what I find challenging, duality on this planet, right? Of expansion of love, expansion of power, expansion of, empowerment, right? And a lot of times with those expansions, we can also experience on the flip end, power over, power struggles. We may feel out of alignment with those things that we may have loved and enjoyed in the past. So understand we're still in this rapid change, this energy of Pluto, and the energy can feel pretty dense and murky. So again, getting back to the beginning message of grounding your energy, whatever that means to you. Honestly, when I ground, I get into my human self and I do laundry, I vacuum, I pay bills, I make sure that my physical vessel and my home is taken care of. That's my foundation, right? My foundation is being able to, go to bed and feel safe at night and have a clean and orderly environment. And, I may clean out my car. And then I usually sit down with some type of drum meditation music. I also love the Tibetan monks. They usually bring me right down to the base of my being. And so those are just some ways that I find are very grounding. So if you're looking around and the area where you're at might be disorganized, or, there might be piles of things all over, to feel like grounded, sometimes to organize and put things away and throw things out and just kind of tidy up, right, can help you feel really grounded. All right, and there's a million other ways that we can, utilize tools for grounding, but those are just some different kinds of grounding techniques that I use. All right, well, let me get into this here. So, goddesses. Let's put this over here. I also want to, before I open space, I just want to thank you for being here. I'm just really grateful that, there's about 80 of you that show up every week. I am almost going into my third year of doing these YouTube videos, and to maintain the consistency that I've been able to, because you show up, because you share me with your friends and your family and your loved ones. It is a blessing. I love to share, obviously I'm seeing these cards come out for the first time, and for you, when you see them, they're coming out for the first time. So it's just been a really fun journey. It's been a really cool experience working with the capital L, capital L for love, capital L for light, with the energy of these cards, right? The superluminal light. I just really love working in this energy, and I wouldn't do this if nobody showed up. So thank you for showing up and being here and being interested and asking questions and being curious. So all right, let me open up space. Let me invite in all your guardian angels and guides, the archangels, the ascended masters, the divine mother and father, and all their holy beings of light that would like to assist with this guidance. I want to connect my heart with the heart of the divine feminine, the holy Shekinah, the heart of the dove, the yin energy. And I'm going to ask that the messages that come through be for your best and highest good, and the best and highest good of all concerned. All right, friends. Goddesses. Dream goddesses. What message or what guide wants to work with us this week? As always, I just kind of wait for one to pop out, and there we go. It popped. So let me just put these back in the box. Here we go. Lakshmi, goddess of prosperity. Yes, we love money, right? We love money. We love energetic abundance. So the message here says, you've not just won the lottery, you are the lottery. You have the ability to actualize heaven on earth through material opulence for yourself and others. You are here to illuminate the misconception that you can either be spiritual or rich, and prove that they are two sides of the same golden cord. Let me put this, where can I put it for now? Let's put that there for now. All right, so Lakshmi is the goddess of prosperity. She's usually shown on a lotus flower, and she has coins in her hands. So if you are working with the energy of money, right? Money has always carried an interesting vibration. Remember, money on a table is nothing unless it's put into action, and then we do something with it. So how we use that, right? So let's say money and the energy of money and the vibe that it carries is consistent with whom is putting it into action, right? And I think I've told this story before about how I enjoy playing with $100 bills. I see $100 bills. Now, disclaimer, I'm not, I'm not like, I'm not the Joel Osteen kind of wealth, let's say, or the Joyce Meyer kind of wealth, let's say. But I enjoy playing with $100 bills, meaning that when they come across my path, I always smile and I get excited about how I'm going to utilize that $100 bill, because I know it'll come back to me. And so when I work with this energy, I usually use those $100 bills for a service of self-care in some way. So maybe it is a massage, maybe it is a physical therapy appointment, maybe it is spending it at a local business, or maybe somebody is selling something, a book, and I can inject that money into their growth and expansion and prosperity. But the thing is, I used to not be, $100 bills used to be sparse in my life for most people. And so I had to get used to $20 bills, first. And again, in my field, people can pay me with cash, they can pay with credit, they can pay with a check, they can pay me now with Venmo, right? So to get cash is a semi-rare thing. Of course, I always say cash is king, and we love cash, absolutely. And also it's a vibration that it carries. So to expand my energy and to expand my appreciation for money, I needed to get comfortable with $20 bills and then $50 bills. And so now I'm at the $100 bills, right? And it's a fun energy to play with. And then I put them out, and, I spend them on people that I believe in, or services that will support me in my self-care. And I always talk to the energy of money and saying, all right, money, or the $100 bill, like, let's see how fast you can come back at me. And what's interesting is I don't have any $100 bills right now. I usually have one or two, but I don't have any right now. So it's going to be fun to see how this week maybe I can work with the energy of money and, for me, the $100 bills. But for you, maybe it's 20s. Maybe you can call on Lakshmi this week and start healing, or asking her to help you heal your energy with prosperity, money. It can also relate to your time and your energy, So for me, success is being able to have an abundance of time and energy, feeling energetically abundant. That is primary for me. And because of that, I've created financial support for myself. I've created security in the space that I live in. And I make food a priority. So those are my grounding, root, basic needs that for me, when I have a fridge full of plant-based, nourishing foods, when my bills are paid and rent is paid in my office rent and my home rent, when I have time for myself to be and do nothing, for me, that is success. So when you're working with the energy of prosperity, there's so many different ways that you can interpret that word, right? So I know the spiritual community is changing. I'm having a really hard time with how do I want to explain it? I'm having a really hard time with the way spirituality is being used and manipulated in the material worlds. So I don't want to speak to spiritual materialism. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about a feeling and a way of being. Because again, when you feel good, the people around you feel good. When you are feeling alive, when you are feeling joyful, when you are feeling at peace, you are going to be aligned with others that you can support, that you can share with, that you can connect with, that you can align with, right? So, Lakshmi is very clued into manipulation, right? So if we're doing something to get something, like, all right, Goddess Lakshmi, if you do this for me, then I will, right? So I feel like this energy is about where it says you are the lottery. You've already won, you're already able to share and give, and so many earth angels are already empowered, and you have so many talents and gifts, and you already are empowered, you already are loved, you already are, what am I getting at? You already are successful. You already are. It's just the interpretation that you might be putting on those words that may make you feel not enough, right? And then also too, there's a lot of information out there that would love for you to feel not loved and not enough, and not that you are doing enough, so that you will buy their things, right? So, and again, I'm all for sharing. I'm all for making a living. You know, that is number one priority. I value my time. I value my energy. I value my gifts, right? And also, those of you who know me know that I'm very generous with my time, right? And wisdom, and I'm happy to share, and, all those good things, right? So know that when you're working with the goddess of Lakshmi, you want to show up with your most authentic, genuine self. Meaning, I don't know what I'm doing with money, or I have no idea what I'm doing with my time. I'm so maxed out, I don't even know where to begin. Or I am always on the go. Lakshmi, help me. Help me with more money and less work. Help me make adjustments. And when you ask these goddesses, your life will start to change, right? And in a lot of ways, you already know where those boundaries need to be set, or you already know what adjustments to make, or you already know like where your time and your energy is going. And also to remember, what else I'm getting is remember, your energy is also based on your ability to create space to receive. If you're always under influence, meaning if you've always got information coming in, so I used to always have some music going on in the background, always. And what I realized, it was a big old distraction, and it kept me in a constant state of doing, right? And so now what I love nothing more is that my mornings, having my morning coffee and listening to the silence of my apartment. I have the quiet apartment. My grandma, she's the one that passed away back in October. We used to call her house the quiet house, because you'd go there and the sound of silence was so loud and it was so nourishing. And I would realize, like, God, I never get this. And I love that. And so when I was looking for apartments, when I had walked in my apartment, and the landlord, she was very kind and connected to God herself, and we're talking about going to churches, and where we go and what we do and how we pray, and of course there's peach walls, but I remember the silence that enveloped us, and I knew that this was my apartment. And so I tried to be mindful of appreciating and savoring the silence of nothingness. That is where the gold comes from, friends. That is where the ideas, that's where the creativity, that's where the seeds are planted, in the nothingness, in the space, in the quiet. And I can tell you, I know I have a tendency to say things like a year or two before it's necessary. But now is the time to really appreciate and savor the silence and the space of receiving. Because Lakshmi, when you ask her, she is going to take action and she's going to make adjustments in your life. And if you're constantly inundated with podcasts and information and emails that are also sharing information, if you're constantly on the move and your meditations are always guided, or there's always music, or if you can just feel the energy of constant influence and people telling you what to do. It happens at your job, it happens with your family, it happens. I feel like a large part of the EarthAngel community needs a break, needs rest, needs stop, right? Needs pause, needs silence, needs stillness, needs, or let's say rest, putting your feet up, because that is where we get the ideas and where we're inspired to take different kinds of actions, right? And I feel like Lakshmi can assist you with that, but it starts with the knowing that you already are the treasure, that you already are the blessing, you already are the well-being, you already are energetically alive and loved. And from there, that's where everything else grows. So I feel like I'm going off on a tangent here, but let's see what else comes out. Lakshmi, what message of healing do you have for the Earth Angels? Excuse me, as we talk about prosperity. Redefining. Maybe that's it. Maybe redefining this week what prosperity is to you. Are you following the pathway of numbers? Like maybe it's followers, maybe it's money in the bank, maybe it's how many clients you can stuff your schedule with, maybe it is how grand your, I don't know, whatever material thing is. And is that where your heart is aligned? Is that truly where your happiness is or your inner peace is? You know, maybe this week, redefining that word and what that means to you could be a start. And if you don't know, being able to ask Lakshmi. All right. All right, Lakshmi, what message of healing do you have for the Earth Angels this week? Igniting my joy. Absolutely. So this is card number 6. 6 is the universal year that we're in. I love that it's red. I've got my red sweatshirt on. I got my red beads out. I was gifted these in Sedona by one of the general managers of the spa we were at. They're juniper beads, and they're made by the Native American community in that area, and they're prayer beads, and they're for wishes and intentions and prayers. So I put them on the table this week. So we have 6. 6 is the universal year that we're in. 6 is all about home and family and community and connection and love and beauty and creativity and self-expression, right? And so again, with all the planets direct, we're now officially out of all the shadow phases of the planets and the retrogrades. And so we're getting ready to slingshot forward. We're on the cusp of, here in the Northern Hemisphere, transitioning out of winter and moving into spring, the birthing of new things. So I feel like this is a really great week for, the word I'm getting is like respite, or reprieve, or a recharge, right? And so what brings you joy and immersing yourself in that energy? Sometimes when we're in a tough spot and we're overwhelmed, especially if you're a sensitive soul, which I'm sure many of you are that are here, you know, sometimes we can be overwhelmed. So sometimes, you know, the joy of the Lord is your strength, right? How can you get into a space of prayer and openness, right? With the joy of the Lord, whatever that means to you. So the card here says, attuning to the highest good in myself and others ignites my natural joy. Attuning to the highest good in myself and others. So, highest good. What does that even mean? For me, the words that I'm getting is the call of the heart. What you love to do the most. For some people, it might be crafting. For some people, it might be gardening. For some people, it might be volunteering. For some people, it might be sharing. I know there's a lot of resources going over to Ukraine, and there's a lot of reputable organizations that are funding people who are being misplaced and in fear. So sometimes that can bring you joy if you want to contribute to that. Sometimes joy is getting 5 minutes in your car or the bathroom by yourself with nobody screaming. This is real life, right? And so, again, working with your guides, working with Lakshmi this week, working with the divine and asking them, show me joy. Sometimes we're not even sure what that even is. And again, these things that I'm sharing is not something that you have to do. Going back to my opening statement, it's how can you be open to receiving something even better? How can you be open to receiving the goddess of prosperity in a way that may be different from the way you've been taught or the way that you've been doing it? How can you be open to receiving joy in different ways, right? So joy can just fall upon you. I like to walk, and joy falls upon me when dogs come around. I miss my best friend dearly. My forever puppy transitioned in September, and I miss him terribly. And for example, how joy came to me was there is this German Shepherd that is down the street from where I'm at. And there is this German Shepherd's owner is a man in law enforcement. And so this dog barks, and it's got a fierce bark. And when I would walk my dog past this gentleman's house, I would be terrified. And my dog would love to sniff every blade of grass across the street and made this dog insane. So, I used to be afraid of this dog. So, one time I was driving in my car, and I was coming down the street, and all of a sudden, I'm driving slow because it's a neighborhood with kids, so I'm going really slow, and there, all of a sudden, a tennis ball goes across the street. And so I stop thinking, some kid is probably going to chase that. Nothing. So I'm looking, nothing. This tennis ball hits the sidewalk on the other side and just stops. So I proceed with caution, and as I'm going by this man's house, the German Shepherd's head is stuffed under the fence with his little paws sticking out, waiting for somebody to bring back his ball. Now, I know I did not go and get the ball. This dog scares me, so I did not go get the ball. I regret I didn't get the ball because it probably would have been a fun moment. But I laughed so hard because here I am afraid of this dog. And in that moment I realized it's a puppy at heart, right? And so that was my joy. My joy was sometimes what we fear is a story or an illusion, right? And I feel like I got to see the genuineness of the dog. And it was just a moment in time that I had that was absolutely nobody else around. And so I just thanked the divine. Thank you for that moment of joy. That was awesome. And I have to say, it did squeeze my heart. It made me miss my dog a little bit more. But it just reminded me of the joy and the innocence of dogs and animals of nature. So as you are seeing this message with igniting my joy, sometimes just the openness to the universe and saying, I'm opening to receiving joy. And I also acknowledge that I'm really sad right now, or I'm really missing someone, or I'm really having a tough time, right? And when we're paying attention, when we're in the present, we can have these golden nuggets all over. The morning doves bring me joy. Sometimes I will drive by and there will be two of them sitting on the wires, and they bring me joy. They remind me of love and the Holy Spirit. And so when your experience is in those unexpected moments of joy, or those unexpected moments of prosperity, maybe you get a break, or maybe something gets canceled and you have more time for yourself, or maybe you just set a boundary for yourself and say no thank you. Being able to pause in those moments and really savor it and bring it in your body. More of this or something even better. So I pray for you that, joy shows up for you in magical ways this week, in unexpected ways, to empower you and uplift your energy. Because again, the world really needs that earth angel, unconditional love right now. Especially as the world starts opening up and people start traveling again and see people start connecting again. The effects of the pandemic and the effects of, the lockdowns are still yet to come. So, you want to make sure that you're mindful of being energetically charged up. And, if you're constantly inundated with emotional manipulation from TV or people trying to get you to buy something, or, the fear and the stories, and, sometimes we need to take a break from those things, right? It doesn't mean that it doesn't exist. It means I can't be a contributing member of society if I'm existing in dysfunction or disorder and disarray and fear. And it just takes small pockets and small moments to notice and experience and appreciate, to elevate and ignite your energy, your chi. So action steps this week. What action steps this week can you take to support your healing? So there's 2, so I'm going to take those. We have laughter. Yes. And I remember, it doesn't necessarily mean that you have to go out and find it. It says uplift yourself and those around you through loving laughter. You know what I'm really enjoying? I don't watch a lot of TV, and so I try to be mindful with what I am watching. But I am watching The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel. And it is on Prime. It is on Amazon Prime, and she's a comedian. And it is in a time period where it's not socially accepted for women to be comedians. And it's just a very interesting dynamic, and I absolutely love it. I love her. I love the character. I love her energy. She kind of reminds me of me in a little, she's like my inner like, performer. I used to be I danced for like 20 years, and she's kind of like, and I love talking, I love sharing stories, and, I love laughter. So I'm very much enjoying this experience. So, laughter can come in many different ways. And again, asking, the divine, Goddess Lakshmi in abundance, the divine feminine, lead me to laughter, lead me to joy, let me laugh. I notice when I laugh, those around me laugh. I love to laugh. Those who know me know I really try not to take life so seriously. Even though the reality is there are a lot of serious situations, but it's how we look at those, right? So I really try to surround myself with people who are joyful, faith-filled, mutually supportive people. Those are kind of the mantras that I use. And I always pause in the feeling after the laughter, because it's a vibration that goes from my heart to my cheeks to the back of my head and right up my head and out my crown. And it is an elevation and uplifting that really like boosts my energy. So I feel like, as I was talking about, feeling energetically depleted or feeling like out of time or feeling, the pinch of the bank account, I feel like the divine is supporting you this week in ways to be able to shift that energy. So laughter, ignite joy, really redefine what prosperity means to you, right? There's no shame in saying that you enjoy and appreciate money. For me, I took this spiritual finance course by here in New England. There's a teacher that teaches a spiritual finance class. Her name is Carrie Cudmore, and I believe she's in Westport. And if you're local, definitely check her out. And she does spiritual money, health, coaching, and guidance. And she has a training which was phenomenal and life-changing for me. And again, I know life-changing is kind of like a buzzword now, but for me, it forced me to face finances, my credit report, and money in a completely different way. But she also helped me realize that we all struggle with the shame that comes around lack thereof, or not knowing what to do with money, or not knowing where to begin and being overwhelmed. And it really was life-changing. So for me, and helped me appreciate and view money in a different way. And so one of the things I took from that class was viewing money as a friend. Money is always there to support me. Money shows up when I need it. Money brings me joy. I have a lot of really great experiences with money, and money also gives me the opportunity to do nothing if that's what I want to do, right? So for me, doing nothing is a luxury. It's something that I don't get to do very often. And when I do get that chance, I'm very grateful that money has given me the opportunity and the space to be able to do nothing. So again, looking at those energies this week in a different way can support you in feeling more alive and energetically abundant. And so the other action step is patience. I saw this card when I was shuffling the deck and preparing the cards. I also saw it in the Whispers of Love deck too. So I thought that was just me, but it seems it's a message for all of us too. So patience, the begonias here. It says, your prayers have been answered, and they are your prayers have been heard, and they are being answered. So again, when we put that energy out there, when we're shifting and we're creating and we're we're helping people and being in that space of nothingness, patience comes in, right? There's a reason why patience is a virtue. Patience is a very feminine energy, and it is what we need in order to create space to be open to receiving, right? For a very long time, the joke for me was I'm patiently impatient, waiting. I'm waiting patiently impatient. And because I wanted everything now, and I would go right to that, it's never going to happen. And so, we talk about how God tests, right? And, Joel Osteen recently talked about in one of his services how the test of God isn't for God. It's to show us where we need to do the work next so that we can grow and expand, right? And so when we're struggling with impatience, or we're challenged if you're always getting stuck in the line that something goes wrong, or if you're always getting the red lights, or, somebody's always doing something, like let's say, I don't know, something happens with the kid and you can't get out of the house in time, in a way that squeeze is teaching us in that moment how to shift the energy, right? How to create space, how to talk ourselves down, how to open space in the patience, right? Especially in this world where we want to get everywhere as fast as we possibly can. And in turn, sometimes when we do that, we end up going in circles, metaphorically and literally, without even realizing it. So patience gives you an opportunity to pause, to see where you're going, to take divinely guided or divinely inspired action forward, instead of, oh, I should do this and I should do that because that's what worked in the past, but it might not work now, or maybe it will work, or I'm not really sure, you see? So, as you're on this journey, you have to remember that we need to take pause and open up to receive, right, the gifts. We need to create space for it. We're constantly running from one thing to the next, which is a product of the system. It's the society we live in, right? But as we've seen, society can't continue to be going at the capacity that it's going, because there's a lot of people that are going outside of themselves looking for answers and are being severely misguided and misdirected and misled And it's dangerous. For your soul, for your energy, for your own money. And again, it's not a bad thing, because this is how we learn about our power. I've learned about my own power by being taken advantage of, by being manipulated, by being duped, being frustrated by those things. Why am I so kind? Why am I so trusting, right? So those energies are there to teach us. But we can also no longer continue to contribute to those energies, whatever that is for you. So patience in learning a different way, patience in waiting for or being open to receiving action and steps forward, the Holy Spirit's golden nuggets, in a different way, right? And we can then enjoy the journey through laughter and play and adventure and fun and freedom, which those are my buzzwords, right? I want to experience life through adventure, play, laughter, fun, and freedom. I am on a 1 of my 9-year cycle. It is information that I share in my life purpose readings. And it's new beginnings for me. I am starting a brand new 9-year cycle this year, and I'm sowing the seeds of adventure, play, laughter, fun, and freedom. That is quality of life for me, and I'm open to however, the divine wants to support me in that. So again, this week might be a really great week for you to sow your own seeds. What do you want more of in your life? Writing those words down, feeling the energies into those experiences, and then when they come in, really savor it in your being. So what are you being gifted with this week? This all being said, what are you being gifted with this week? I'll take the 2 of those. We have discernment. I love this word. Practice discernment. You don't always have to say yes. You don't always have to say no. It can be a yes today and a no tomorrow. That's what practicing discernment is. Is this going to contribute to the quality of life I'm creating for myself, right? It is, and of course, it's card number 10. 10 is equals a 1. 1, again, is new beginnings, as I was just talking about, but this is where it starts, checking in. 1 million people could follow a person, or follow a group, or follow an organization. And if there's something about that energy that feels off to you, if it doesn't resonate with you, practice discernment. You might not know why. It could be something you don't want to hear. It could be something you need to learn, or there could be a vibrational mismatch that says, this doesn't feel right, so I'm going to choose something else, and that is okay. It doesn't mean no forever. It just means no, not right now. And when you're paying attention to your emotional guidance system, that's like your solar plexus, your heart center, your throat chakra, your third eye, like when you're really attuned to those energies in your body and the way it feels, you can practice discernment and make adjustments with the actions that you're taking. Let me see here. Is that in the camera? Yeah. And then the other card that you're being blessed with this week is blossoming, right? It's the flower moon card, double threes. Double threes, 3 connects me with the Trinity, the Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit. There's also a Hindu Trinity, and there's also an Egyptian Trinity as well. So it's the vibration of the masculine and the feminine. 3 is a powerful energy. Of course, we have double threes here. Again, it equals 6. We have a 6 somewhere else. Oh yeah, we have the 6 here again, which is the activation of this energy that we're on, home and family and community. So I feel like we're making adjustments in home and family and community, in our own creative expression. So what are you enjoying? What do you love to do? For me, one of my favorite things to do is to sit down with clients that I haven't seen in a while. I've been at this 14 years, and so I have clients that come back after 2-3 years. They come in for a check-in. They might send me other their family members, and so I become part of their, let's say, the energy of their family in some way, as a guide, as a support, as a nurturer, as a caregiver, right? As a spiritual support for most. And that is one of my favorite things to do and be. People come in, they might do some coaching, they might have a session, they might be wanting to work through some stuff, and then they go off and they live their lives. And I think that's the best part. And then, they might come back down the road. And again, that's what I love. So I always say more of this or something even better. And over time, I've created that, right? I've created that connection, that community, that family, that network, right? Of a practice that I have, where I share the gifts that I was born with. And in turn, my mantra is, God, send me those that I can bless, that can bless me as well. And we blossom together, right? So that's another energy that you're being gifted this week. And remember, blossoming sometimes comes from the push, the squeeze. It comes from, growth. So it's not always glorious. It can be challenging. So some of you, as you're practicing discernment and making adjustments and, what is contributing to the quality of life that you're creating for yourself, in that you're blossoming. And from there, you're finding more joy and laughter, and you see the value in patience and pause, right? And that is really where our true prosperity comes from. That's where the awareness of that you are, the lottery. You're not separate from it. You are God's greatest creation. You are love. You are joy. You are blessed. All right, so let's finish this up here. Love all the flowers. Of course, the moon energy is here. All feminine. This is great. So, all right, Goddess Lakshmi, divine feminine energies. What message of love do you have for your Earth Angels this week? What is the overall message of love that you have for your Earth Angels this week? Let's go with this one. Slow down. Do you see the theme here, right? So I feel like if you're running around, if you're slinging yourself into one thing after another, slow down. We have the 9 here. 9 is about endings, right? Ending the rush, ending the running. It's cool. We have some Pisces energy here. I feel like we're finishing out Pisces. And I believe Aries season starts March 21st, I believe. So we're finishing up this lovely watery energy, emotional energy, and we're about to ignite the passion, the fire with Aries. We're about to start a brand new 12-month zodiac year of the zodiac. So Aries in March starts off, is the first, I'm getting all jumbled here, is the first sign of the zodiac. So we're getting ready to start a new 12-month cycle, with the moon cycles, with the astrological chart. So this would be a really great time to, create a vision for, we are still in the new moon in Pisces. So this would be a really great time for you to sow the seeds of adjustments that you want to make, and maybe slowing down is part of that, right? Where this is where this energy is in here. So the message says, when you are excited, you get ahead of yourself. Take some time to allow things to unfold, right? The patience. And while you're open to receiving, right? While you're creating space for blessings and joyful moments to come into your life, enjoy the life that you're living now. Enjoy the experiences you're having. Wake up saying, all right, God, I'm opening to receiving, joy today, or laughter, or play, or adventure, or fun, or freedom. You deserve that, right? And I have to say, I work with really heavy energy. I work with people who have lost children and parents and unexpectedly loved ones and friends, and people are going through pain, people are going through grief, myself included, right? So this isn't an ignorance to like being human and the challenges that we experience and the growth that comes from it, right? So when we can slow down and really savor when it's good, it's really good. I shared with you last week, every week, I kind of expand on, the week before, and I shared with you the last week's reading about, this moment that I had in this fancy, resort in this pool. It was a heated pool, and it was snowing outside. It was in Sedona, Arizona, and we're in this beautiful canyon, and I just got spit out of like hit after hit after hit of grief, of loss, of very, very significant losses in my life. And really struggling with it catching up, I understand grief. It's what I do for a living, and I am consciously trying to nurture and heal and soothe and understand, right, what I had just come out of, and yet here I am in this pool. Now I'm a quadruple Cancer, a water sign through and through. And I'm in this gigantic heated pool outside, surrounded by the red rocks in the womb of the earth, is what it feels like, in the great mother energy, feeling the closest to God that I felt like in a really long time. And it was so touching. I'm giggling, I'm laughing, I'm overwhelmed with humbleness and the magnitude of the experience. And these are the moments, friends, when we slow down and just take it all in, and it really just ignited my energy, and it just gives me clarity that we're here on this planet, and people transition, and unfortunately it's the reality. The joke is nobody gets out alive, right? And we're all dealing with transitions and endings in some way. We're all curious and fearful of new beginnings and what that means. And so I feel like the energies are like really fast moving now, and we're really susceptible to influence, and this, I don't know, this shift in, I don't know, capitalizing on people's pain and spilling just emotional stuff everywhere. It's in TV, it's on the news, it's in social media, it's all over. And it can be overwhelming, right? And so we can certainly miss these moments, and we can certainly miss the treasure that life is if we're constantly enveloped with it. We got enough of our own stuff, right? And again, being able to reach out to friendships and to be able to reach out to mutually supportive people, faith-filled people that share your vision, that share your need for comfort and nurturing and love and generosity and kindness, right? And caring energy. So that could also be prosperity for you. Bring me in friendships that are aligned with my heart, right? Those are all intentions that you can set this week, especially being in the new moon in Pisces, just about to go into the, just about to, start the next month, the new, why can I not think of the word? Astrological year? Is that the word? I don't know. I think I'm cooked. I'm fried. I think I've said enough. All right. On that note, my friends, I need to go drink some water and eat something, and maybe go hug a tree. So I'm going to close space. I'm going to thank all your guardian angels and guides, the archangels, the ascended masters, the divine mother and father, and all their holy beings of light that assisted with this guidance for you today, especially the goddess Lakshmi, the yin, the divine feminine energy, the holy Shekinah energy, the heart of the dove. And I'm going to ask that any healing that was started continue for as long as it needs to be done. And I pray, friends, I pray that you learned something. I prayed that, this information supported you in some way. And again, if I can be of service, if I can support you in any way, you can just go through my playlists, my pick a card readings. There's so much information on this channel that can support you. I know that your angels and your guides will lead you to those messages that you need right now. So do that. Or if you want to book something privately, my information is in the notes below. All right. Thank you so much for being here, for watching, for contributing. I love you. God loves you so much. Remember, I love you comes from loving your soul, loving how you show up in the world. Again, I've sat with so many of you, and, the way you are in the world, the way you're giving and caring and sharing and showing up in hard ways. That's what I love when I say I love you. I love you for your being. I love you for the work that you're doing. I love the way that you're sharing. I see it. I see it. So God loves you so much. Trust in the divine. Trust your intuition. And I send you love with heavenly hugs. Bye for now.